The next paper will be presented by Mr. Vikrant Sharma. It's been authored by Mr. Hirofumi Takano, Mr. Masuka Urata, Manager Planning Division, NK, and Ms. Vikrant Sharma is the lead in business strategy and lead in business development and consulting. He also works at the Innovation Development Division of the class NK. He has been educated at Hito Subhashi University, International Corporate Strategy, MBA in 2016. Please welcome Vikrant Sharma.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So far it's been a really privilege to be here with you. And my colleagues have taken a very important topic which goes with the theme of Envaco of chartering new courses. This is the direction we all see in the coming time, big data analytics. But most importantly, everybody has said one common thing: data is going to be important. Data ownership, data quality, how we are going to maintain the data is something we should be looking at. At NK, we try to cover that. So what we did, our view is that how the industry is taking advantage. Maritime industry has been slightly slow in adopting it, but the other industry has taken up with it, moved forward with efficiency. And we'll see how we can take maximum out of it. So what is digitalization? It refers to enabling, improving, transforming business operations, business models by leveraging digital technologies and a broader use of contextual digitized data into real actionable form. When we say that, it means you need to pick up the data, you have to analyze it, you have to create value out of it. So if you move forward, this is what we see the industry has picked up so far. If you see that the Tesla has actually used big data by over-the-air software, they have reduced the number of warranty claims. The brakes, the efficiency of the vessel is done over the air, which means you don't have to go anywhere to the shop to carry out any maintenance. It will be done through the technology. And as per the analytics, $2.7 billion has been saved over a year just in claims of warranty. So I'm just trying to tell you what is the real value others are generating. While we are still talking about it, we need to see if we can save money. The second part is the healthcare. Pickle is a big insurance company. They use 900 common variables to come up with a very specific solution for each insurance claim. And finally, GE, without any GE has been the pioneers in IT. They have increased at least 20% of operations efficiency in terms of wind farms by using digital twin. This is how industry is going. Where we are going at the moment, these are the 4 topics we think are going to change the way we are working. Some of them we have already covered. The first one is the drones. For this, we have already issued guidelines classes. The other classes have already worked on it. So the point over here is that you will be using drones for the inaccessible area initially. But as you move forward, these drones will take photographs and going to compare through AI with the newly built ship at the present, and then you will know whether the ship is good, bad, or poor. That's how the AI will play in terms of pictures. The number 2 is a remote survey. As you move forward, you may be connected to the direct control room, and then you will be advised how and when, what regulation to the online survey or the person in charge will get out of it. Twin, we have already covered it. Twin is something we all are looking. It all depends on what value we generate. We may come up with some brilliant solution, but at the end of the day, we need to see if this AI will actually, there are some buyers in the market who will see that they can reduce their OPEX. And the fourth one is autonomous shift. This is what we all wants to go, desire to still we have to make some way. But yes, as covered by Kaushik also, connectivity is one thing that is in the future. Connected. So at the moment we have conventional chips, then we move to the connected chips, and then we move to the semi-autonomous chips, and finally we move to the autonomous chips. But to reach everywhere, big data is going to be the critical. And at NK, we believe that it is the right of the ship owner or the data owner how to protect the data. This is something we like to cover. So what are the challenges when we say implementation or digitalization? What are the challenges we see? Digitalization is nothing but it is the using the data which we have ignored so far. Whenever we sign contract, we never see how this data is going to be utilized with any vendors. Vendor comes, we sign the contract and that's it. What is doing with your data? Is he really utilizing it the way it should be? So we felt there are a lot of challenges, a lot of gaps. The first challenge is a fragmented approach. A lot of vendors, they have their own service, own data centers. There is a redundancy of the data which is being transferred from the ship to shore. You have 3 service providers, for example. Lack of harmonization. Each vendor has its own format. And finally, lack of framework. At the moment, there are no governing rules through which the data can be transferred, who owns the data, what is to be done with the data. It's on an individual basis. So we realize that through interaction with clients, these are the possible challenges. And keeping that in mind, we came up with the 2 concepts. In 2015, we launched Ship Data Center, something which Kaushik has also told, Veracity, DNB, it is. Data center is the big data platform. Platform is required for the marine industry. For each ship, each owner which has got 5 ships, 10 ships, 20 ships, they will not go on the platform, they will not build their own platform. They need an infrastructure where they can dump the data, and then they need someone who can pick up the data and create value. Nobody, otherwise there is no use. With that intention, we came up with a data center. Now after establishing data center, we realized that it's not enough. We need to bring the stakeholders on the one platform, and then we need to co-create value. Each expertise, each domain expert will do its job, and then value will be created. That's how we would like to work it. Class NK being a third-party non-profit organization, we don't want to get into the commercial aspects. We want to create a platform. So, 2 points which I'll be covering here just in a couple of slides is the data center and the IoS OP. So what is the data center? If you see the first half of the slide, the upward, there are 3 service providers. They are using their own database. They are having their own services, and then they are going to the different clients. What we are trying to do is we are trying to simplify it. So we are trying to replace the middle part where there are multiple multiple data centers. We are going to replace the data center. Second value we are trying to do is we are trying to standardize the data format. And then we are asking the service providers that you come on the data center and please use it. So what is the value of the ship format? Number 1, your data is secure because you are having going to contract with the data center. Number 2, that there is no data redundancy. You can choose the service provider. The service provider will pick up the data and provide you the services. These are the value we felt initially in 2015 will be good for the ship owners. Moving forward, we felt that this is not enough. This is not enough. Just providing data center will be good enough? No. Because most of the shipping companies do not have enough expertise or in-house knowledge to actually create value. So we need to need to bring the stakeholders. So in Japan, we started, in May 2018, we started an IoS OP, we call it Internet of Ships Open Platform. 46 companies joined it. What was the intention? Intention was to secure the data, make rules, and ensure that a data distribution working committees are made. And what is the output? To co-create new values. Because when different stakeholders are sitting together under the one roof, then everybody has his own needs. And if there is a value, people will work and get best out of it. So, Moving forward, if I have to say more in detail, this is the data center which is right in the, which we made in 2015. On the left hand side are the ship owners who will be transferring the data to the platform provider. These are the companies which will be actually taking the cost of supplying your data to the data center. Then from the data center, there will be two solutions coming out. One solution where the service providers will analyze the data, create the value, and then the ship platform user or the ship owner will become the buyer. So what's great about it? The great about it, first of all, your data is secure. Secondly, you may negotiate with the service provider or with the platform providers that I am giving you my data for the usage, you can negotiate on the cost. And then there will be other people who are interested in your data. These are the people who are the manufacturing companies, main engine, the shipyards. They want to do innovation. So obviously we need to see how this data can be utilized, because you are the owner. You need to decide whether you want to sell it, and you can maybe actually sell it at some cost. This is what we are looking at. So how many companies we have? 46. We made quick breakdown. This consists of Classroom Society, Marine Insurance Company. This is one of the biggest marine insurance company, ICT companies, shipbuilding, shipping companies, etc. So there is a good combination, but at the moment it's for Japan. In the near future it will be launched on a global basis, so we expect these numbers to rise. The next question is, when you talk about data, especially you go to the ship owner and say that please use the platform. The first question is, my data is not secure. It took us more than 1 year just to define the rules, just to define who will do what. And very quickly, platform user is the person who will be taking the pod, who will be shipboard server cost, data communications cost, etc. They'll be burning the cost. Platform provider is the person who will be giving you the platform where you can put the data into the hardware on the ship. Ship data center is the core nerve center of the whole platform. Solution provider will add value. Solution user could be the ship owner again. And finally the data buyer, these are the people who will see the value in using the data for different purpose. So if we see what are the rules, these are the stakeholders. Data center in the between. Everybody will be connected to the data center. So there is a common body which is going to govern the rules. And then there will be different rules governing. Here the contract will be between the platform user and the ship owner. And then how the data will be transferred, it will all depend on the rules. I'll cover this rule in the next. The point I'm trying to draw over here is, when you come on the data center, you're not going to interact with each other. You're going to interact with the central body. And there will be governing rules under which you will be working. And these are the rules which you are talking about. So the first rule is between the ship owner and the platform user. This model will reduce the workload for negotiation of data ownership and data utilization between the ship owner and the platform user. So platform user will go and he will say, please, can I use your data? So you need to negotiate directly with them. Then for the other rules, for the data utilization by the platform providers, everything between the data center, we will be governing the rules. You will be coming and negotiating with us. So there is no question about your data is getting lost. And finally, when we come to number 7 and 8, this is for the relative transition rules between platform user and data buyers. But we strongly believe, as we move forward, this is where we stand. Data collection, data quality, data transparency, so many words are there, EUMRB, IoDCS, these are all things which are just going to create a platform where data transparency is coming. What after that is important. Just benchmarking or just getting the data out of it is not going to add value. So we need to go to the next stage. Once you have clean data, because when you do predictive analysis, you need good quality of data. You need standardization of the data. You need harmonization of the data, where we feel by establishing a data center in 2015, by 2019-20, we'll be in a position to have a transparent data. And at that time, we actually start looking into concepts for digital twin. But will that be enough? Digital twin will be enough. But that should not be the stopping point. The stopping point is, can we come up with the rules based on the data to to come up with the next generation ships. This is the value we see is the end goal for a classification society. Not on periodical basis, not on what is incident or any risk basis, but solely on the data basis. Can we transform the rules? Can we come up with the next generation ship? This is what we are targeting in the future. Very quickly, when we say digital twin, this has been talked about by Ocean. Something which happens in the digital space, in the real space is what is happening. But digital twin is a dynamic software model of physical thing or system that relies on data to understand its state, respond to changes, etc. etc. Whatever you're doing in the physical space, the data is picked up, it is sent into the digital twin, which is nothing but a virtual space. Simulations are done over here, the checks are done, and the cost can be done. It can even predict for the next 1 month. Some of the companies can do that. And finally, this is what we get out of it. Condition-based monitoring, survey, voyage operation. Finally, DCA and ISOP, data center ISOP will accelerate digitalization in shipping. Data sharing and big data analytics will be key for the success of digitalization in shipping. And ISOP consortium for ship data center will lead to maritime innovation and new solutions, such as digital twin, development of new rules for the next generation of ships. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikrant. This was a wonderful one. Let me quickly summarize in 2 minutes and then we open the forum. I think what has been presented by the classification societies, NK, ABS and TMP, I think probably gives you an idea of the kind of architecture or the model you need to build up. Now I'll start the other way around in alphabetical order. NK talked about Internet of Ships. It talks about a platform for collecting data, which is the first step towards moving the digital way. The challenges, the quality of data, that's where we begin. Coming to GL's presentation, I think I could summarize that they are talking about this big data collection and analytics of it. You eventually need to analyze this data which is collected. And the quality of analysis will basically depend on the quality of the data which is coming. So that's probably the second step. And I think, in my view, if I could summarize what ABS presented, after analytics, what do I do with it? Condition-based monitoring, predictive analysis, artificial intelligence. I think this was a wonderful 3 stages of the path to digitalization, which probably gives you an overview of the challenges going to be encountered, the uncertainties inside. And I was just talking to somebody and I saw a caption on one of these big 5. It's a destination, digitalization, destination, UN in brackets unknown. And that's where. And what restricts us is purely our creativeness. How much can your people think? And that's where the digitalization world is going to take you. With those few words, thank you again to all of you for a wonderful presentation done. And thank you for the audience to have the patience to listen to it. And now I can open the forum for the questions. Please identify yourself and keep the question brief. And who is it being directed to? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Pushpa from ABB, Pune. This question can either be answered by Kaushik or Vikrant, anyone. We are from a manufacturing company. We have our own digital services, voyage monitoring, voyage advisory, as well as for the condition monitoring and all. But in our case, we understand our condition-based monitoring platform can only take data from ABB equipment and can advise about ABB equipment. Now, as a classification society, how you are helping in voyage advisory is understood, but in case of condition-based monitoring, how OEMs are coming on board? Are OEM confident in sharing the equipment data with you, or how? I mean, it's good to know about the technology and all, but practically, are OEMs kind of anywhere globally? I mean, anyone of them can take.
Thanks, Pushpa. Our experience has been that we work with the OEMs as well. So, I mean, if you want me to share a name, I can. I mean, we work with companies like Wind G&D, which is related to gas and diesel, and we work with companies like Tecomar who do engine data. Yeah, so it's now in the larger scheme of things. We are working with you, right, in a way. So what we do is we take the vessels, the data, and as I mentioned in my presentation, it's completely anonymized in terms of where the data is coming from which IP address, from which configurable satellite. All that is anonymized. And what we do is, for a particular, let's say, engine type, we know that if it has X number of cylinders and this is the power output, what it's supposed to give, we create a data model out of that data which comes in. So short answer to your query would be that yes, we do get that data and we are ready to sort of work with anybody, because our open data platform allows you to remain completely anonymous, and that's the trust in the data which people have once they trust that to us. So the short answer is yes.
I think one more thing, not only condition-based maintenance, even condition-based surveys is another form, because a ship, 1 year, at the moment we do 1 year periodical inspection. It could be done 18 months, it could be done 6 months, but at the moment it is only 1 year. So yes, we are also looking into it, especially condition-based maintenance, how it can impact insurance, if the premium can be shared with the ship owner. These are the question challenges we are still working on, and as we move forward, we will get more clear.
Sure. So, see, working with the OEMs, one of the few challenges of its own, right? For example, intellectual property, for example, design knowledge, right? Now, having said that, there are still a lot of avenues where OEMs are actually partnering up with folks like ABS and other societies. For example, verification and validation of their processes of doing, whether it's RMND or CBM or PH, right? That's one of them. The other is, if you're a ship owner, or if you're a vessel owner who owns equipment from multiple OEMs, let's say you own engines from manufacturer A, B, and C, then the challenges for me as an operator are how do I rationalize and standardize and normalize the data, units of measurement, sensors across these multiple vessels, as long as you believe that engine is an engine, you could do that, right? But then there are some differences in designs and so on. So there are some challenges, but then there are some collaborative areas, like I said, VNV is one of them, validation and verification, standardization and normalization for use in CBM and artificial intelligence deployment and so on. But obviously, I will not shy away from telling you that there are issues of intellectual property and rights over them when you actually work with original equipment manufacturers, right? So these are some trade-offs.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Simon from Cochin University. We heard 3 very illuminating talks on digitalization. But I see that there was no mention about the security aspect of digitalization. Thank you.
I think each of us touched in some form, shape, but yes, a
critical element to success of any data-driven endeavor is that the whether it's, so for example, some of this data is really sensitive, right? It could be, for example, from the navies, or it could be from commercial customers. So obviously that data has to be anonymized, it has to be double layers of anonymization have to be done. And then there are risks as to where there could be breaches. There could be breaches at the source of data transfer, when the data is coming from the vessel to the central location, let's say APS. There could be breaches at the APS site once the data is inside our firewall and so on. So I'll tell you, APS position here is, we never own the data. The customer always is the ultimate owner of that data. We can only work on that data and provide you insights and recommendations and output of AI and so on and so on and so forth. But we never own the data, you are the ultimate owners of data. We are only custodians and stewards to provide you the insights. And of course, having said that, like I said, there are several breakpoints in this whole process where a breach may happen. So you have to secure acquisition, transmission, storage, management, analytics, getting the feedback back. All of this has to be secured at each level. So I hope that was
yes, there was a query there. So, I have two questions. The first question is to Mr. Subrat Nanda. Mr. Subrat Nanda, since you are from a data science background, how many number of variables in terms of quantity and how much gigabyte of data minimum I require before I can get number crunching, which is AI in nature? Not a trending which I can do on Excel sheet and can do a CPP myself. So, which is the minimum number of variables and how much minimum gigabyte of data I require?
So you almost got me started there. See, I got to answer the question. There is no perfect answer to that.
No, that's a marketing answer. Minimum.
So the real answer is this. It depends on the problem you're trying to solve. If it's about prediction of life, remaining life, finding failures and reliability, it depends on the type of data you're capturing, whether it is sensor data and so on.
But still, how many variables?
So the answer to the number of variables and the amount of data is, if I can capture the variation across the failure modes and however long and large it takes me to do that, is going to be the perfect answer.
That is polling. I'm talking about variables.
No, I'm talking about variables too. When you say variables, it's about whether it's number of sensors or whether it's number of data points, right? It's the length and the width of the data. When we speak of variables, we typically speak about the width of the data, which is how many sensors, how many fields, and so on. So that's what I'm telling you. As long as your sensors are having a minimal fidelity to faithfully replicate the failure modes in the field, that should be sufficient. If you have a lot of sensors, but none of them capture or address the failure mode you are after, and they don't observe the physical characteristic you are after, none of the sensors will be useful, right?
So still, but what is the ballpark figure, minimum? That's why you are a data scientist. Otherwise, I can ask Mr. Seal. He's a field engineer. Which is a figure at which I will get the AI, and which is a figure at which I will not get the.
Sorry, again, the number of sensors depends on whether you can faithfully capture the failure modes. The amount of data on each sensor depends on whether I can replicate the entire variation of operations. Those are my answers to it.
Yeah, okay. We take this question after the. Right. So the next question is to Mr. Vikrant Sharma. Mr. Vikrant Sharma, my question to you is that when you put on a platform a digital twin, what kind of at back end PDM, PLM are we talking about? Are we talking about Viva? Are we talking about a Dassault, Innovia? Or is there a agnostic digital twin which can travel on the IoS? Because globally in shipbuilding, because I'm from a shipbuilding background, globally there are only 3-4 big people who are owning the digital twin model part of it. So if it has to be traded, where the end solution, very rightly said, a brilliant idea has to have a value proposition in the end. So what is presently in your working solution, the digital twin is in which software?
I think that's a very, very good question. As far as shipping industry is concerned, as I said, we want to create a product which should add value. And if you see digital twin, it can be easily divided into 4 parts. One is the component twin. This is where conditions-based monitoring. You pick up a very critical component, you analyze it as a twin, and then you see that whether that component will break the asset. That is one part. That is already there in the industry. The second is asset twin. You make the whole replica. The third one is the process twin, which is kind of through output. So it depends what are the requirement at the moment. As far as shipping industry is concerned, the asset twin and the component twin are still there, and for others, in my best of my knowledge, we are still working on it.
No, I'm talking about
May I request you, there are some more questions, we can take this offline, please.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Good morning. My question is to all of three presenters, and this is regarding how as a class society, you get an experience with existing ships. Like if new ships are there, they are already fitted with as many sensors. But when existing ship 5 years or 10 years, we found that there are no sensors. And as far as advantages of digitalization and big data is concerned, cost is an issue for the ship owners, because the way slowdown is going on in maritime industry, how their approach to the viability of putting all these sensors, and normally how much is the cost implications on owners?
Thanks for your question. We actually work with about 3,000 existing vessels, and over the last 5 years we have been actively engaged in acquiring data from these vessels. As I mentioned in my presentation, part of it is autologged, and as you have very rightly said, that the older ships don't have as many sensors, right? So what we recommend to ship owners, charterers, or the operators is that at least get the power from the vessel automated. So either you have a torque meter or a thrust power meter. If that can be got accurately, rest of the stuff actually you can compute and get from other means, even from a manual acquisition. So if a vessel does not have that, so as a basic minimum, if a torque meter can be fitted, the cost of which now actually has come down to about $8,000 what we hear. So that's the minimum capex you need to fit it, and you have a reasonable amount of data sanctity which comes in, and with which you can actually predict hull and propeller fouling over a period of time.
Thank you.
Sure, I'll just add a couple more points. One is, see, for vessels which don't have that level of instrumentation, as long as you have some minimalistic sensors coming, you can make sense. Now, having said that, remember two more things. One is, even if they don't have instrumentation to a degree or to a depth that you would ideally want to, many of these vessels, they collect a lot of data which is non-sensory, right? Non-operational data, failure records and so on and so on. So there's, and again, the answer is, what kind of analysis are you after? So there are these population level analytics, and then there are the sample level analytics, right? For example, I can tell you, looking at your failure records, whether or not your reliability has improved or is it deteriorating over time. Now, which exact vessel number and which exact engine number will have a problem? Probably not, because if it's not censored, right? And then the second point is, the whole idea of digitalization is it's a journey, it's an iterative approach. So if you start looking at the data, you will realize the sensors or the data points that you are missing. And if you can now start making a business case to say, if I have these 4 additional data points, here are the 20% of my water wash that I can finish, right? So usually it's an iterative process. You will never have the perfect data to start with, and because you will never know the problems you are working on. So it's a right hand, left hand approach where you look at the data, make some inference, you find gaps, go fix it, again repeat the process, right? It's a journey.
Thank you. We have somebody there. Uday?
We are eating into the coffee time, but in the last two questions.
Last two questions, please. I think somebody give a mic? Yeah, you have one.
So, gentlemen, good morning. My name is Uday Purohit. A question to the three of you. So, unless digitization benefits the ship owner in the form of increased mean time between overhauls, unless and until condition monitoring increases the lifespan of equipment, no ship owner is going to invest in the huge amount in digitization. The unfortunate fact is that today we are talking of data security, but we don't have classification society rules and guidelines that will say how anybody could extend the life of his equipment, having installed condition monitoring equipment. I've been talking to Ashok, I've been talking to DNV, I've talked to several classification societies. The big door appears to be at the point that there are no rules how I could work with a ship owner to have that clarity for him.
I'll tell you, yes, I agree, unless there is a net return on investment, no, it doesn't justify the cost, right? Now, we agree to that. Obviously, in the rules part, I'll let Ashok or somebody address that question, but the crux here is, we have to start looking at the data that has been captured and translate that to a business proposition. Remember, that's a myth. Condition-based monitoring or remote monitoring and extensive instrumentation always does not mean less maintenance. We always love to, it can actually mean sometimes more maintenance. What if you actually start finding faults more, right? So to me, the value is if we can translate and transform your unplanned downtime to planned downtime, that is where the biggest bang for the buck is, right? If I could tell you before a mission starts, what are the most likely failures you will see? And if you can actually address them while the machine is in dry dock, you have a much better ROI than if that did not happen. So that's how I see it.
Yeah. Thanks, Uday, for that question, and you're right. In my opinion, we are still at the stage where we are gathering enough data and we are able to sort of filter that out and come to a conclusion whether this completely justifies that cost. But in doing so, we have to deal with a plethora of inputting mechanisms. So it's sort of very difficult to really pinpoint and then overrule an OEM by saying that no, your TBO needs to be changed. So I guess it's still work in progress, and hopefully, within the next few years, I see it in the midterm that we are able to do this. But as of now, we don't have a straight answer.
Just one last question, please. I mean, we could take it offline now because I think the organizers need to make sure that we maintain the timing. Please.
Sir, this is the question for all three. And my name is Kumar, and I am from Pfizer CR. And we have been working on big data and cyber security for the last 3-4 years. And my question is that we are talking about a lot of big data and how purity is the data is. The data which is available, past experience, what we have seen is like the purity of data is not correct. And I want to know how we can improve the purity of data that we receive. We will look into including a training in this data in means of STCW.
Thank you. Would like to take one step. See, I think we touched upon. Thanks for the question. I think this question is about how do you assess and how do you improve data quality, right? And like I said, there are 2 or 3 ways to address that challenge. One is your systems, which means the algorithms which are making sense out of those data, number crunching and grading, whether it's predictions or trends and so on, have to be self-aware to be able to assess data quality, quantify the amount of data quality issues, and be able to address them algorithmically before you go forward with any further analysis. Otherwise, it's GIGO, garbage in, garbage out, right? So you have to be having the self-awareness in the systems, number 1. Number 2, like I said, it's not just a bunch of rules that you apply and data quality improves. It has to be context-driven, which comes only from overlaying domain onto the data that comes out of these sensors. So that's how I would actually start approaching it.
Thank you. Just a minute. Can you this is the last question. That's it. I think
it's a very valid question. And if you see at the global level, IMO, UMRV, these are some of the organizations which have taken it very seriously. When we say data quality, it means someone, third party, has to verify the data. This is something UMRV, IMO, DCs are doing. That was not there before. So at international level, it is getting serious. Now coming at the more micro level, coming at the bottom, if you pick up the data by sensor, in general we can say it is more quality, is there. There is less of manipulation. Now if you move forward and if you go to a platform, like in case of Class 90 or DNV, the point is if you can harmonize that data, but still the responsibility lies with the data owner. But eventually it is the market driven. So you can't take responsibility, class MK or a service provider cannot take responsibility. It has to backward, it has to be from the ownership. But before that, if we put those tools in place, then it only lead to transparency and data quality.
We're just totally out of time. Thank you very much. Give the presenters and the audience a big hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Couple of announcements before we pass on the mementos. One is the delegate bags are ready at the reception. Request you to please take your delegate bags. They have a coupon for the lunch and dinner and all the other information. So after the session, along with the coffee break, please collect your delegate bags. And now we would like to present some mementos. First to Ashok for chairing the session and making it really wonderful one and good interactive session which we had.
May now call upon Vikrant because he's got a flight to catch and he's rushing back. Thank you very much for attending this and also presenting this paper thing. Now may I call upon Kaushik. May I now call upon Subrat. Now to Brian, who did an excellent coordination and he kept warning me in time. Thank you very much, Brian.